Hi everyone, this is Madhumita of Science Department. In our previous class, we have discussed about a life process of plant called nutrition. In this class also, we are going to discuss about one more kind of life process that is called as transportation. So before getting into the topic, first we need to know what is called transportation. What is transportation? Moving the things from one place to another place, it is called as transportation. Okay, what is need to be moved in plant? Yes, of course, water and nutrients. So this water and nutrients, it just get transported from one part of the plant to another part of the plant. So that is called as transportation, and how it happens in the plant, that's what we are going to discuss. Okay, we know about our transportation system. Which is our transportation system? It is our circulatory system. How the blood vessels of our body is working the same way. Here is also, there are two different vessels, that is xylem and phloem. Okay, so this transportation, it occurs in three different steps. So the first one is cell to cell transportation. The nutrients and water, it is just being transport from one cell to another cell. So the cell to cell transportation happens. That is the first step. Then second step is long distance transportation. Like inside the xylem tube, it is a continuous tube like structure, isn't it? So the water and nutrient, it get to transport in the long distance. So the second step is long distance transportation. The third one is from the tube, it just to transport to the nearby cells. Okay, so that is the third step. So totally this transportation occurs in three steps. Okay, how all these things happens? Because of two important things. One is called as absorption, another one is called as transportation. Okay, first we will discuss how the absorption takes place. So, where the absorption takes place first, it happens in the root. Actually, it is done in two processes like active and passive absorption. So, first we are going to discuss what is called active absorption. So, here in the root hair, the single cell only is present in the root hair. It is a lining of a single cell in the root hair. Okay. So, now what actually happens here, we are pouring water in the soil. Now, in the soil, the concentration of water is more when compared to the root cells. So, what happens? There is a slight osmotic pressure, it has been created there. Okay, what is called osmotic pressure? Water always, it just transfer from the place of higher concentration to the place of lower concentration. Okay, so that process is called as osmosis. Okay, now the concentration of water is more in soil but less in root cells. So because of that, a slight pressure, it is being created in the root cells. As a result of this pressure, this water, it just pushed towards the cell. So this process is also called as diffusion. Okay, through diffusion and through osmotic pressure, this water, it just pushed inside. So this process is called as active absorption, because the cell need to work out a lot. So that's why we are calling that as active absorption. So here in active absorption, because of osmotic pressure, the water, it just pass to the next cells. It continuously it happens. Then the osmotic pressure, now the water enters in the first cell. Now in the second cell, there won't be any water. So there also a little bit pressure, it just start to form. Then the water again, it push towards the second cell. So it continuously, it happens like that. Because of that, the water get absorbed by the root. So this is the first way. The second way, it is passive absorption. How this passive absorption happen? Here the cell need not to work out anything. So the leaves, it just get transpire, it will do transpiration. We know that very well. What is called transpiration? Transpiration means changing the water molecules which is present in the plant into water vapor, and it get released with the atmosphere. So that is called as transpiration. So because of transpiration, the leaf, it just loses the water molecules. As a result of that, a slight pressure, it start to form at the top, which means in the cells of mesophyll. Now here in the active absorption, where the pressure starts, it starts in the root cell. But here in the passive absorption, where the pressure starts, it starts in the mesophyll. Okay, so because of the pressure, it just sucks in the water, it is being sucked. So this pressure, it just pass to the cell after cell and it reaches the root. So because of the pressure, the water, it is sucked in. So there are two different kinds of absorption. One is active and another one is passive. So next we are going to discuss about transportation. So the transportation, it is being done because of two different vessels, that is xylem and phloem. So in our previous classes itself, we have discussed, while we discuss about the types of cell, we have discussed about xylem and phloem. What about xylem? So the xylem vessels, it transports water from one part of the plant to another part. Then in the case of phloem, it transports food, which means nutrients, from one part of the plant to another part. Okay, so how it transport? What is the means of transport? So first one is diffusion. Because of diffusion, the water and nutrients, it just get transported from one part to another part. Here the same way, while we discuss about this active transportation, what we told about diffusion, the same thing. The nutrients and also water, it get diffused from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. For example, in leaf, the food get prepared. Now the nutrients level in the leaf cells, it is more, but not in other parts. So the nutrients, it just transported from the leaf to other parts. So that is called as diffusion. Diffusion means the transportation from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So the second means of transport is facilitated diffusion, which means the selectively components alone get diffused from one part of the cell to another cell. Okay, so that is called as facilitated diffusion. For example, if you see the cell wall of the cells, there are different proteins are present. So that particular protein, it just allow the particular material alone. For example, antipode protein. So this antipode protein, it just let to exchange two different substances. Okay, it let only two different solvents. Okay, exchanges. So that's why we are calling that as antipode. Okay, now in the case of unipode, there is only one kind of solvent, it just pass in that particular moment. Okay, so that is called as unipode. Now in the case of synpode, two different kinds of solvents, it can passes at the same time but in the same way. But here in the case of antipode, if one solvent has entered inside, another solvent can come out of that place. Okay, so the transport can happen like that. But here in synpode, it will just go to in the same direction. Different solvent can go to the same direction. Okay, so these kind of proteins are present in the cell wall and it selectively allows the molecules or the solvents through it. Okay, so this is one kind of transportation. In active transportation, the cells utilize its energy. So what gives energy to a cell? We know that even in the photosynthesis, we have learnt about that, isn't it? About ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. So the cells utilize these molecules and it produces energy. By using that energy, it pumps up the particular nutrients one has to transport it from one region to another region. Okay, so here in active transportation, the cell's energy, which means ATP, it is being utilized and this function it is being carried over. Okay, so these are all different means of transportation. Now we are going to see about driving factors of transportation. So first and foremost thing is transpiration. So transpiration is it is playing a very important role in transportation. How? First we need to know what is called transpiration. So transpiration, it happens in the leaf part. Okay, the water which is present in the leaf, it changes into water vapor and it mixes with the atmosphere. So this is called as transpiration. While transpiration happens, the water molecule which is present in the leaf, it just get eliminated. So because of that, there is a space, empty space, it is being created, and because of that, a slight pressure start. Okay, then this pressure, it is being passed to each and every cells and it just sucks the water up. It helps in sucking the water up. We can make it simple. Have you ever drink cool drinks by using straw? How will you drink that? So you will create a pressure at the top of the straw. You will suck the cool drink. So because of that pressure, what happens? The cool drink, it just come up. The same way, the pressure, it is being created here. Because of the pressure, the water, it just rise up in the xylem tube. Actually, this xylem tube, it is a lifeless cell. It is a lifeless tissue. It cannot pass anything. Only because of this transpiration, the creating pressure, it just actually the xylem, it just act as a straw. Okay, so because of the pressure, the water, it is being sucked up. Okay, so this is the first driving factor of this transportation. So because of transpiration, the pressure, it is being created inside the cell and it helps in the transportation. Then the second thing is surface tension. So because of this transpiration, a surface tension, it is being created inside the cells. So wherever the surface tension is being created, it will be rectified by sending the water or nutrients to that particular place. So that is also a driving factor, which means the slight surface tension is being created because of the transpiration. Okay, then the next one, force of hydrogen bonding. We know that what is the molecular formula of water? That is H2O. So in between hydrogen molecule, there is a very strong bondage is there. So whenever the molecule is just to move, it take the other molecule along with that. Okay, so because of this strong bonding, the water, it just pushed up towards the leaf or other parts of the plant body. So till now we have discussed about a life process called transportation. So in our next class we will discuss about one more life process. Until, thank you.